When I pulled up my Google Doc to start typing up my thoughts for part 2 of Dragon's Rising Season 2, I was genuinely at a loss for words on what to say without just gushing over everything about this season. I had an absolute blast watching every single second of this story, and I'm not exaggerating there. Whether it be crucial moments or just fun, action-packed ninja scenes, I was genuinely just there being entertained and having the best time watching these episodes. Dragon's Rising is seriously benefiting from telling one large story instead of holding amazing character arcs captive to one season. This season is finally showing us the power of Ninjago telling an actual interconnected story, not just updates on the Benchstone buyer every now and then. Not a lot of TV shows, especially kids TV shows, have the ability to last more than a couple seasons, much less all the years Ninjago has gone. So it's a surprise that Ninjago hasn't taken advantage of that staying power to tell one giant interconnected story, since it can do that with full confidence that it will be able to have all future seasons greenlit. Thankfully, Dragon's Rising realized this and is taking full advantage. With Tournament of Sources, we're seeing a lot of groundwork that the show has set up prior finally being touched upon. And all these things spanning multiple seasons gives us more of a reason to care, whether it be with heroes, villains, or major plotlines, because anything that happens will have a lasting consequence. There is no reset and a happy ending in the monastery at the end of the season anymore. Remember back in Master of the Mountain when Wu felt old and then how that got resolved towards the end of the season? Think about how much more impactful that would have been if he felt old and useless all the way until Seabound or crystallized. The moment where he finally feels like himself again would have been so much more touching, as there would have been much more character work put into that. It took 36 episodes for Arin to finally achieve a full Spinjitzu tornado, and I couldn't even imagine old Ninjago carrying over a plotline like that for this long. I think that's how Dragon's Rising is still able to manage to grow characters even though they have the largest cast of ninja to focus on now more than ever, and they're also growing the villains' characters as well. Everyone has just enough screen time because everyone doesn't need to finish their character arcs in one season, so it gives them more time to share the screen from season to season. Two standouts thanks to Dragon's Rising being okay with multiple season character arcs right now are Sora and Arin. Sora started out as the weaker one. She had no control of her powers, a bad attitude, and not much training. But over the course of Dragon's Rising, she has risen over the ranks to surprisingly even win the Tournament of Sources. Arin, on the other hand, was the prodigy. He taught himself Spinjitzu, he had the right attitude, and phenomenal skills already at hand. Yet now he's the total opposite. It didn't take him long to fall behind, resulting in increased negativity and self-loathing, and now even a confused outlook on who he should be learning from. Unlike what Dragon's Rising originally pushed us to believe, Arin isn't Lloyd's prodigy student. It seems to be Sora. I also want to talk about some smaller things, one being that usually the ninja are always getting hit and thrown back and it's fine. But lately there's been certain times where the ninja get hit in a way where I'm genuinely worried they might be injured. Whether it be with Arin getting slammed by Cinder in part 1, or more famously Lloyd getting hit by that sword from Zeatrix. I like to say it's a better kind of distribution of momentum thanks to the animation team, but I feel like it's more of a mix of proper build-up with writing and animation together. Fighting actually has consequences like injuries nowadays much more frequently than before. While we're on fighting, I also like that Rising Dragon Strike is just as important as it was when it was introduced. Ninjago had this tendency to kind of introduce new powers and make it a big deal the season it was introduced, then the next season it kind of felt like it was on the back burner. Thankfully, with Shatterspin still in play and the Rising Dragon Strike being so powerful, it helps keeps it just as exciting and relevant. I also enjoyed Roby a lot. He started out pretty shallow and one note, maybe even a bit annoying, but through the season the audience has revealed a surprisingly real side to him. I really liked how every time someone wasn't having fun in the right way, all of a sudden Roby's tacky humor disappeared like that. Because at the end of the day, he still somewhat has a level of humanity to him. He's a really genuine person just trying to honor the tournament in his own way, whether he be a little crazy or not. Towards the finale, as the ninja chase knocked out and Arin and Raz escaped together, I could safely say that this tournament does something that the old Tournament of Elements season didn't do. It stayed a tournament season till the end. The original Tournament of Elements season started out really great with the ninja trying to find Zane and fight in all the competitions to go ahead and try to win the tournament. Even the underground prisoner plotline was pretty good. But towards the end it turned into a very typical the world is ending Ninjago season plot. Granted, a really well done plotline, especially with Garmadon sacrifice, but nonetheless this part of the season strayed a little too far from the very reasons I found this season appealing, which was how unique it was since it was a tournament structured season. On the other hand, with Tournament of Sources, it never strays far from the tournament. They save the world-ending plot like Raz's plan and the rise of the Forbidden Five for a future season. The ninja don't leave Tournament Temple City at all, and the finale involves Noct winning the tournament and fighting all the ninja to bring back the Forbidden Five using the powers from the Tournament Cup and the Dragon Horns. The whole competition still matters even after everything is over, as Sora is declared the real winner. I think Tournament of Elements is a good season, but I personally don't side with the general opinion that it's the best Ninjago has to offer. Tournament of Sources does the whole concept of a tournament better in my eyes, since first of all, it has the benefit of time, so the animation and fight scenes got a lot better, which is pretty important because this whole season is about these tournaments and fighting. And also, it never strays away from being a competition. In the Tournament of Elements, the goal was to overthrow the tournament itself. But here, it was to win the tournament so that Raz's team wouldn't get all the powers for whatever reason that may be. However, I think both seasons handled side characters like the other elemental masters equally well. Both of them did a good job giving personality to other competitors. Dragon's Rising might have done a little better though, only because masters like Xantan, Geo, and Euphrasia were already set up prior, whereas Master Chen's tournament had to introduce everyone from scratch. I mean, they had to introduce the concept that other elemental masters exist in the first place from scratch. Moving on to the elephant in the room, I've heard a lot of people not really liking Evil Jay's amount of screen time, but I have a couple of reasons I'd like to defend that. First of all, if they kept him in the tournament longer, I probably would have been more upset since there's no way they could do him justice with so many other things going on. So I'm glad they're saving it for later when they can focus on him more. Secondly, the time he was there was so awesome. As a huge Jay fan, I absolutely ate up every second he was back. Although I do feel like his dialogue, I don't know if it was the execution of the voice actor or the writing, it did feel a little fake at times. It didn't really feel like a person was talking. But nonetheless, him telling Nia I hate you was so gut-wrenching to see. So if the problem with Evil Jay was screen time, I agree that it wasn't nearly enough to feel satiated, but I wouldn't be worried about that since it's not over yet. We'll definitely get more as we go. And that's honestly how I feel about a lot of the characters like Cinder or Zane that didn't do as much as we would have expected them to do in this season. Since Dragon's Rising is one big story, it's completely fine if one season doesn't have time to handle certain characters to its full extent. There's always the next. Tournament of Sources is definitely a somewhat middle point in the story Dragon's Rising is trying to tell, and I cannot wait to see what happens as the story progresses further. We have Noct out there plotting with his entire team, Wu apparently caused the merge, Raz wants to undo the merge, and now the concept of dragon icons have also been introduced. And all these things are made extra special because all these things are going to have consequences that last the entirety of Dragon's Rising, whether it be it affects our heroes like Arin joining Raz's team a little bit, or the Source Dragons being in danger. The ninja are not back at the monastery with no threats whatsoever. The ninjas still have a lot of work to do. Comment down below what you thought about this season. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.